All right, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to episode number 2 of the Smart Money Show. Today I'm joined by a very special guest. Our guest today is Connor, one of our students that joined FU Academy 1 year ago. In today's episode, Connor is going to be going over our story, how he got into Forex, how he was able to quit his job just 2 years after trading. So yeah, Connor, tell me, man, how did you get into it? Like, who got you into Forex? Where did you get that inspiration? And how was your start?
We've all seen them videos, you're scrolling through social media, see them videos, people sitting on a beach with a laptop. Do you wish you had a life like this? And you can't help but think, it's got to be a scam, man. It's got to be a scam. But I felt like I wanted a piece of the pie. So I was looking at stocks when COVID had first started. Stocks had gone through the floor. So I started looking at what's driving it. What drives the stocks, news. When I was just looking at the stock market, I came across the Forex market. It was, the volume that goes through the Forex market daily. It's just over 6 trillion daily. I didn't even know them numbers were around, man. So I started watching a few videos on YouTube. Momofx was the one I checked out. I thought he makes it look easy. So I tried it. I watched his videos for a week or so. Thought this looked simple. I put $1,500 in an account. Never had to go on demo. And I'd made $4,500 come Thursday. Lost a lot on Friday. Was fuming. Should have took a step back then. And I thought, what's going on in the market here? I thought I'll win it back. So I did the same again a week after. Another 1,500 in. Just over $3,000 come Thursday. Same again on a Friday. Go in my direction, but a quick whip the opposite direction, take my money, whack the stop loss, and then go in my direction anyway when I've got nothing left in the account. And I couldn't for the life of me figure out what was going on. I was fortunate enough to have a friend of mine that's been trading for 4 years. So I dropped him a message and just asked him what's going on with the market here. And he pointed towards you. Momofx, he sent me 40 minutes, 2 videos that he'd had saved to his PC. He sent them over to me, and I sat there and watched them twice, just how you mentioned about manipulation and how it's, the whole thing's run by banks and hedge funds.
Yeah.
So it started to make sense. I thought it's...
And like, when you actually started, did you jump straight into like a retail strategy, or did you jump straight into smart money? Like, the time frame we're talking, like... Did you watch my video 1 to 2 months after your journey, or was it like a year in? When exactly was it?
It was about a month after, 2 months after starting. So I did 2 weeks by myself. I had no idea what was going on. Went to the demo, and was still watching videos on YouTube, just going off support and resistance, and different indicators.
Stuff, so yeah.
Yeah. And it was only when I spoke to a friend of mine that he pointed towards you and the smart money strategy. Then I started to understand why it's whipping one way to clear the liquidity and then go in the direction that it was supposed to go in the first place.
Yeah. And when exactly did you join? I believe FU Academy joined us around a year ago, right?
Yeah, it was around June last year. So
something like that.
I dropped you a message.
And how did you find the smart money strategy in general? Like,
there's no other strategy like it, really. It just makes sense to me when you look back at the other indicators and what other people are looking at on YouTube. It doesn't matter who you look at, who you search up. The support and resistance and indicators. For me, it doesn't work. It may work for once on their video for them to show you an example, but doing it, on the repeat, it doesn't pay off. It really doesn't.
Yeah. And the beauty of it, like, is it's so simple, like to look at, like you understand every single thing that's happening on the charts, like the way the candlesticks are moving, why the candlestick, for example, comes back down to mitigate an institutional candle, stuff like that. And the beauty of that as well is that the theory as well makes sense, So like compared to many strategies out there, I feel like the smart money strategy is definitely one of the most simple strategies that you can find out there, because you're looking at a chart, and once you reach a specific or a certain level of proficiency in the markets, you don't even have to draw a box. You don't have to mark out an institutional candle. You don't have to market the imbalance. Your eyes will be so powerful. Like your visual prowess in the charts is crazy. You look at the chart, boom, straight away in the first few seconds, you're spotting that institutional candle, you're spotting that imbalance. Whereas with another strategy, you actually can't do that. Like, for example, if you're trading indicator and stuff like that, you can't just like look at the chart and imagine the indicator being there. Like, you actually have to go analyze, like, analyze that crossover, or like find the areas of support and resistance. To be fair, you can kind of get used to seeing the support and resistance without marking it, but you kind of get the idea. So the smart money strategy in general is, definitely one of the best concepts that I've came across, because as I said in my last podcast as well, I've been through many different strategies, like I've tried multiple things, everything, support and resistance, all different indicators. But this is the thing that really, like, once it makes sense on the chart and once it makes sense in your head, boom, it's a game changer. So this actually brings me to my next question. Like, how long did this actually take to make sense for you? Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously you probably started watching our course. I see you were always hopping on our Zoom calls, asking questions, sending your charts, and that's what a good student does, So how long did it actually take for it to click? How long did it take for it to click on the chart, and then that would have obviously reflected on your count and you started becoming consistent?
Yeah, so it was maybe 3 months in. I did the mentorship course with you. I was on it for a month. During the course, after the course, it started to make sense, but there was the driving factor that makes you lose over and over. It isn't what you can see on the chart, it's the mentality. It's you get greedy, 100%. It goes your way. You maybe stack on it, you'll add to the position, and you're just hoping that it's just gonna fall. It's gonna fall straight off the screen, or it's gonna go straight through the top of the screen, and it doesn't. It's rare it goes that far. You're greedy chasing 100, 200 pips.
Yeah,
it's not about the massive moves. It's consistently hitting 30, 40, 50 pips. Not chasing the big ones.
Yeah. And like the easy part of this, like, I feel like something that's overlooked so much in trading in general is finding the strategy of entry is simple. Like, anything works, okay? Like, I promise you right now, you can probably go find a retail strategy that will work out there consistently in the long run as well. Maybe with not as much like accuracy as the smart money concepts, maybe not as high of a risk to reward as a smart money concept, etc. The three main factors, of course, is your exit strategy, your risk management, and your exit strategy, which I said that twice. But exit strategy is so important. People, they focus so much on finding the entry. That's the simple part. Everyone teaches how to enter. Very few people actually teach you how to, manage your emotions, control your mindset, how to actually exit the trade, how to get out of your trade, how to manage your trade while you're inside it, like trailing your stop loss, taking partial profits, etc. So it's definitely one of the most overlooked things in the Forex industry in general, and trading in any commodity or whatever it is, So, 100%. Now,
patience.
Your biggest tip. Patience. Is that your biggest tip?
Patience is it's massively key. My biggest tip, the way I blow accounts every time, is moving a stop loss, being hopeful that it's going to go your direction. Mm-hmm. It's getting close. Say you've got a 2,000 account, you should never let it get to risk management is key. But if you let it go too far, let it go to 1,000. You don't want to take 1,000 loss. So you move your stop loss and you allow 1,300, 1,400, and then before long, the account's gone.
Yeah. So once again, that leads basically never move a stop loss. That's it, guys. Never move a stop loss. And if you take that advice and you really, really think about it, it goes back once again. He didn't tell you to, look for like this sort of confirmation or this sort of confirmation. It all goes back to the mentality, and this is definitely one, like, when you hear success stories and when you hear sob stories about Forex in general, it always leads back to, a mental mistake that someone made, an emotional mistake someone made. It's never like, I took it from the wrong IC or this and that. This is the first steps. Like, this is the first part that you kind of have to deal with in your trading. A lot of people can become really, really good at analyzing the charts, taking the charts in hindsight or even taking the charts live. But the 95%, 95% lose is because they don't have their emotions in control. And it happens to be that Connor is part of a 4%, you know. So Connor, as I probably mentioned at the start, Connor quit his job last January. So tell me, how did that work out for you? You know, like especially 2 years, like that's brilliant, man. That's crazy. Like fair play. You know, 2 years is a very, very short time to be able to do it consistently. Like wow.
It's some feeling, you know. It's some feeling to be able to ring the boss and say, look,
Yeah.
I'm not coming back in Monday. He said you need to do your notice for a week if you want to get that last week's pay. I said I'm not interested in doing my notice. I won't be back in. I hate the job as well, but it's some feeling to eventually be able to grasp the emotions and the smart money concept, and it all sort of start to come together. It's a lengthy process. Money's got to be lost in the process. I find most people say need a demo, but I don't find you learn them mental lessons with a demo account.
Yeah.
Even if it's 100%. Just a small account. If it's demo, you lose, you know, start with 10 grand, you lose 10. Oh, you just go back and put another 10 in. You don't have that mental loss.
Yeah.
And
you need to have something on the line, like.
Yeah, and at first, when you make a loss, you think, the market's done me over. It's the market's fault.
Yeah.
And when you don't understand the concept, well, that's what you convince yourself. Once you learn the concept, it's not when you mess up and it doesn't go your way, it wasn't the market's fault. It's a mistake you made. If you blow an account or you make a massive loss, you did something wrong. Whether it was risk management, you know, it's
agreed.
You need to get that under control.
Yeah. And it's actually a good point that you brought up, like with the point that you brought up there with demo trading, because demo trading is like, I don't really have any strong views about it or like strong opinions or anything like that. But for me, it's as simple as this. Demo trading is there for you to practice your strategy. You're practicing your entry criteria, you're practicing your confirmations, and you're practicing your exit. You know, you will never, like, you can, I don't know, man, you can flip 10K to million, 20K to billion in the demo, but that will literally not reflect in a live account. It's as simple as that, because having that emotional attachment, you know, knowing that there's money on the line every single time you click that sell or buy button, knowing that there's money on the line is completely different to just seeing a few numbers on the screen. Knowing that it's just electronic numbers and clicking the sell buy button is completely different, because it can have many different effects on you. All right, so like at the start, literally like a few minutes ago there, I asked you what would be your biggest tips for beginners. Now, here's a different slight take to the question. What would you do if you actually went back to your old self? You know, like we're talking Connor from 18 months ago. What would you say to him?
I found something a little bit later on that sort of helped me out. I got myself a little journal. Yeah. And a journal. The majority of people make... You're forced trades, man. You take way too many trades. And I found it massively helpful to just write down the trade that you're about to take and why. So just get your journal out, what trade you're about to take, why you're taking it, does it fit your criteria, what's your stop loss, what's your take profit, and let it run. Don't be letting emotions come into play. Don't be pulling out early. Don't be trying to get, if you set a limit and you think you might miss, don't jump in early. Just trust your judgment and let it run. Yeah.
Definitely, like that's a brilliant idea, you know, because it actually brings me back. I remember when I was starting out. Not really starting out. I was like a year or two in as well, but I was still struggling, you know. But what I was able to do was I had a trading partner, right? Some of you guys might even know who it is, but back in the day anyways, I had a trading partner, and what we did was we set up an Excel sheet, right? An Excel sheet, I can't even remember, like anyways, a Google sheet, whatever it was. And both of us were obviously able to access that sheet. So we had like 3 different columns. It would be the pair name, the amount of the loss that we took, just basic details. Now the idea of that kind of thing that we were doing was he had his section on one side and I had my section on one side, and it was like peer reviewal. Like you can see what the other person is taking. So it kind of like it helps you put yourself in check, and it helps you put the other person in check if they mess up. So do you know what I mean? So like you're reviewing what you're doing, the trades that you took, and they can hold you accountable for that trade. You know what I mean? So that was an idea that we did as well. Another idea that actually that actually came to mind, and I told a lot of people about it. You know, this was like one of the best things that I was telling beginners back in the day as well, was if you took let's say you took like a trade and it wasn't part of your confirmation. Like there was a trade or you just gambled it, whatever. If you lost it, okay, we understand. Like if you lost it, no worries. Now the thing is here, if you won that trade, you take that money, you withdraw that money, the winnings straight away, and you can either do two things. You straight away donate that money to charity, or you can set it up with like a friend, have a friend there, and the money that you make gambling or like by making like a stupid mistake, you send it to that friend. You know what I mean? And vice versa, they do that to you. So like it's a stupid idea, you know, but it really, really puts you in check. It really, really does put you in check because it makes you think. Because if every time you're rewarding yourself by letting yourself keep that money in your account, then your mind is going to keep doing it. So what you're doing here is you're programming yourself to punish yourself, for your mind to be like, okay, every single time I make this mistake, then I'm going to be punished, you know? So slowly, you're going to program yourself. Now, I don't know, like a lot of people might agree with what I do. A lot of people might not agree with like the ways that I'm explaining here, but everything works for a certain person, you know what I mean? I don't know if you've done something like this in the past where like you punished yourself for making stupid mistakes, but I don't know, like was it similar to you or?
Yeah, I didn't so much punish myself, but at first, if I made a stupid mistake, I was keen to gamble that, to get straight back on it. I'll make that money back, and you're not going to win back the losses that you've just made. Take a few days off, take a week off, and think about why that happened, what mistake you've made. And if you need to write it down, then write it down. Even if you make a little sticker and put it on the top of your computer, it's just a rule not to break again. Like I was saying about not moving a stop loss earlier. I made a little sticker that was on the top of my laptop. Never move stop loss. And like I know it's in there. I know not to move it, but just a mental note that if it was going the other way and I'm about to take a loss, if the stop loss is there and you've risk managed correctly, then the loss won't wreck your account. You just take a loss, and it was just a little glance. I'll take it. Don't move it. You've got to do what you've got to do.
Exactly, and you're basically just programming the brain by seeing that note. You're slowly programming it to like stop doing that. You know what I mean? But it works. It's all those little things that work. You know what I mean? And actually, like going back to like the learning point, why we're talking about learning in general. Give me some advice, or give some new traders advice on like how to approach any academy. It doesn't even have to be our academy, like FU Academy. It can be any academy. How would you approach that learning process? Because with each academy out there, like for example, in our academy, we have the course, we have the Zoom sessions, we have the signals where like you use them for education, and you can obviously make money as like earning as you learn, you know. But for beginners, it gets really, really confusing. Now, the good thing we have like a really, really kind of specialized program where like we have everything lined out. Like you join straight away, you're looking at that PDF. It's like basically a starter's guide, and you know everything structured. But how like would you approach the learning in general? Like would you like first of all look at the courses? Would you be willing to actually like always hop on the market analysis sessions? Are signals something that you take? How was your learning journey in general? Like how did you maximize it, the optimum way to do it?
Try to get as involved as you can. So, take note of other people's charts, but try not to let, sometimes 100%. Within the same group, you'll find someone's looking at a buy and somebody's looking at a sell. And if you're looking at a buy and someone else is looking at a buy, it depends on who it is. If it's the mentors, then you can think it is probably going to go this way. I found at the beginning, I joined quite a few signal groups. I had Telegram. I could have 6, 7, 8 different signals, and it's just it's all noise. It's a lot of the time they're wrong, but you're looking at something. You maybe got the concept, and you're about to take a trade, and someone else is going to take the opposite on a signal, and then you start second guessing yourself. And I think the best way is to try and analyze yourself, and whilst you're learning, send your charts in to mentors. If you're part of a good enough academy, they're active people. They'll give you feedback, whether it be constructive or not. They'll give you feedback on what you're looking at.
Exactly.
Just be
100% like engagement. Active. Exactly. Be active.
Get on the Zoom calls. And listen to what other people are saying. Don't just assume just through trial and error you'll get there eventually. You're never going to learn it all. Every day is a day for learning. There's little bits to pick up from different people along the way.
Yeah,
sure.
100%. 100%.
And
that's what mentors are there for.
I've been quite fortunate. I think FU Academy's got to be one of. I haven't joined any other academies, but from what I've learned from you guys and how active you are, you can private message any of you if you're looking at something, out of hours. Well, this maybe isn't looking good. What do you think? And you the majority of the time, most of the time, you're there to give an answer straight away. You're all as active as the active members.
That's great to hear.
It's a good community to be in.
That's good.
Just glad I found it when I did.
Really happy to hear that. Yeah. That's great, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, honestly, like, as you said, like, honestly, I want to strain that point that you said multiple times, engagement, because it's funny because as I said, I've mentored thousands of people, and the people that I see succeed, because like I've watched so many journeys. I've watched people like rise to the top. I've watched people go from the top to falling, stuff like that. I've seen all walks, like paths of life and stuff like that. And the pattern that I've seen with the people that actually really make it and actually end up sticking it out for longer than a few months are the people that are engaging the most in the chat. They're learning. They're sending in their charts. They're getting constructive criticism. They're getting positive feedback on their charts, etc. And they're also giving feedback to other members. Like, you could be doing this 6 months, 7 months, even like you can even be doing this a year. There's nothing wrong with giving someone else feedback. It's up to the person to take it or not. So like, as a learner, you have to join and kind of set parameters for yourself in the start. Like, how much of this information do I want to take from these people? Like, you kind of have to join and just be very logical about everything. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'll probably take more information from the mentors than I'll take from the other students. Stuff like that, like just basic kind of rules that you set for yourself, and on how to approach your learning journey. Because if you just like jump straight into it without a plan, you're going to fail. It's just like everything in life. With your learning, you have to have a strategy. You have to have a certain approach. So like, yeah, so what I'm going to do is watch this course. After I watch this course, I'm going to be hopping on to Zoom calls, learning from the mentors, etc. When I approach the chat, I'm going to send in my charts. I'm going to give people feedback, but I'm not going to let people's opinions, affect me too much. Yes, I'll learn what John has said to me there about this institutional candle being right or being wrong, and then I'll see what he actually says. I'll actually focus on the point that he's given me and see if it actually works. I'll backtest it, but I won't just take it blindly. That's what you have to do. You always have to research for yourself, look and backtest it for yourself, see if it actually works. So yeah, that's definitely one of the most important things. Just a question that's actually like just bouncing in the back of my mind. I want to know, like, in the past 2 years, how much has your life changed? Because let's be honest, Forex is not just it's not just a job that you're doing. It's not just a way of making money. It's a way of life. Let's be honest, it impacts you. For me, it has completely changed my personality. Like, I feel I've matured a crazy amount since when I started, because I was very young when I started, and now, wow, man, like, it really, really impacts you, really, really makes you mature. So my question is, like, how did that change your life? How did from starting Forex, how do you feel your life has been impacted?
I'll just jump quickly to the start. It wasn't the 6-7 figures that I was chasing. It was the freedom, the ability to be able to work from anywhere, and having that light, almost like a light at the end of the tunnel. If you stick it out and you can get this, there's no reason why you can't have the freedom.
Yeah.
And being able to jump on the charts for 3 or 4 hours, or whether you set limits and you don't have to spend any time in the charts, but being able to only work 3 days a week, 4 days a week. If you get up in the morning and the weather's unreal outside, it's sunny, and you think, I want to take off for the day, paddleboarding, you don't have to ask anyone.
Yeah.
You just go.
Exactly.
You don't answer to anybody. Yeah, you're your own boss. And I think, I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but
part about it.
I've always had this sort of saying: as long as you're working for somebody else, you're helping them fulfill their dreams at the expense of your own. And more importantly, time. Your own time. Time's the most priceless thing we have. And this has given me more time than I could ever imagine. I've just had, 7 weeks off? I've had 7 weeks off since
Yeah.
school. 9 years, you know.
Yeah.
You can't do that in a normal job.
And what you're saying there, yeah, and what you're saying there actually like reminds me of that quote, if you want to call it, where it's like a little story basically, where an employee goes up to his boss and he's like, "Oh, how did you get that Ferrari?" And then the boss was like, "Well, if you work really, really hard next year, and yeah, you put 100% effort into it, then I'll be able to afford a new one." So that's what it is with a job, you know, like. Do you know what I mean? Like, so personally for me, like I don't hate, like I know there's people out there that like are activists about like, oh, we hate on like 95 people and stuff like that. Listen, I respect every single person's choice. If this is what it is for you, 100% go ahead. Because some people, they can't handle the stress. Business is not right for every single person. Being an entrepreneur isn't actually, not every single person is able to do it. That's just life. It's a cycle of life. You know what I mean? Same with Forex. That's why 95% lose and only 5% win. It's as simple as that, you know. So honestly, as I said, it's just how life works, man. Just how life works.
It's some feeling looking at them statistics, seeing 95% fail and knowing that you're part of that. You're part of that 5%.
Yeah.
They can do it, man.
It feels good.
Freedom. Yeah, for sure.
It feels good. It feels good. It's just like, honestly, with the whole Forex journey in general, like I feel like some people, they will definitely have to work harder than others. I think like the majority of people definitely can make it work. It's just some people, it's going to take them 10 years. Some people, it's going to take them 50 years. Let's be honest. Some people, they just can't reprogram themselves. With Forex itself, it's not that hard. The real task, like the real hard part about it, is being able to reprogram yourself. Because a lot of things that you learn in the real world right now, like the world that we live in, society and stuff like that, literally you have to reprogram all of that. You have to relearn all of that when you're in Forex, you know. So it really, as I said, it really does change your characteristics. It really does change your behavior, and it really, really does change your view towards life. And as you said, that's all we're chasing. We don't care about the numbers. We don't care about the money. After all, money like has no value other than the value that society put on it, you know. And that value that society put on it actually allows us to buy our freedom in a sense. You know, it buys us our time. And man, honestly, time is the most precious thing that you could ever have. You know, I have 24 hours a day, and from jumping here to jumping there to jumping there, you can only do so much. And if you have a 9-to-5 job, honestly, like I remember I worked a bit of retail. I worked a bit of retail before. I believe I was working from like 9 to 5, and you come home 5 o'clock, like what can you do at that time? Especially winter, for example, you're approaching those 4 months and it's completely dark. After 5, what are you going to do? You stay at home. Yeah, okay, you might be able to hit the gym once, like for an hour. That's 6 o'clock. Eating, all of that, like going toilet, all of that stuff, that's like 7 o'clock. What? You only have like maybe an hour for entertainment, like a bit of Netflix, whatever it is, spending time with the family. And then boom, 2 hours later, 1 hour later, it's time for bed. What have you accomplished? And honestly, that cycle, just being so scared of being stuck in that cycle is really what pushed me forward. Because I've definitely had a lot of days where I felt like I wanted to give up. You know what I mean? But it's that one thing that just kept me going. And yeah, like going to that point, what was the thing that kept you going? Was it your job, like hating your job so much that you wanted to quit? Because that was one of the things for me. What was it for you?
I always thought I was a little bit different to the rest. You're surrounded by people that are stuck in jobs that they don't want to be in. They hate Mondays and they hate Tuesdays because it's far away from the weekend. They can't wait for the week to finish and get to the weekend. They're living for 2 days a week. I thought there's got to be more to life than that. 100%. There's got to be more to life than working a 9 to 5, 5 days a week, and only having 2 days of the week that you might be able to do something, and you've even got to have an early night on the Sunday because you've got work Monday.
Yeah.
And I just wanted that, being able to not work for somebody else and make your own choices. You go to work when you want. You can comfortably make enough money to pick and choose your days. You don't have to work all day. You could, don't get me wrong. Yeah. Some days you could sit at the charts for 3 or 4 hours. But if it sits right, you set a limit. You're talking 20, 30 minutes, and you've analysed, you've set a limit, and it runs while, if you need to pop out, you go out for breakfast, it's making money in the background. You've got your phone to check it. I wouldn't say to anyone it's a good idea to start trading on a phone. It's far better to look on a computer screen. You get to see more charts, but
100%.
being able to just glance at your phone,
100%.
you know, you go out, you check your phone, oh, it's hit a limit, 250 up, close to the take profit, smashes the take profit. It's some feeling not being stuck in a job. I used to have jobs that I enjoyed,
and being able to do what you want.
Yeah. I used to have jobs that I enjoyed. I used to work for the electric board, and I enjoyed it, man. When, you know, things changed, I ended up working for a guy that I absolutely hated. I was driving a digger, and I hated the boss. I hated going into work, and that more so, you know,
motivating factor,
more, just motivating to. There's got to be something else, man. It's just keep sticking it out. You know, if you make a loss, write down why. Try and, you know, like you say, rewrite what's going on in here and make it work.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't always have to be like this.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, it's actually crazy, because I actually love having like these kind of conversations with other traders, because when I look at it like from a third party, like a third person view, like, and I think about it like, wow, all of our trader stories are very, very similar. We all have that one motivating factor, and 80% of the time it's, you know, a job, someone that you really, really hate that you want to get out of. And a lot of us traders, like, we don't like being told what to do. So we got into this or into the business world in general because we don't like being told what to do by a boss. We don't like our work hours set by anyone. For me, I can hop on a chart, I can mark up my chart, and I can go back to sleep right now. Like, I can jump into bed right now. I can, you know, go outside, have a walk, whatever it is, and my money can just work for me in the background if I want. All I have to do is hop on, you know, 10, 15 minutes maximum on the charts, set your buy limits, sell limits, and boom, you're gone, which is something that you can't have. It's just something that you can't have in general doing a 9-to-5 job and in many other businesses, you know, like in many other businesses, you can't do that. This is just the beauty of having an online business, especially Forex. Like, there's many online businesses as well that you can do, but a lot of them need constant monitoring. Whereas Forex, if you really, really strategize and have a really, really good plan, then you can do this from far. You can just do this on your mobile. Of course, as you said, it's better to have it on the screen, etc., marking the charts, but it is possible. You know, it 100% is possible.
I'd agree.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I guess we're running out of time, man. You know, we're running out of time. But listen, Connor, it was an absolute pleasure, you know, having you on this podcast. I hope a lot of our listeners really, really were able to connect with, you know, both of our stories, and yeah, hopefully it motivates them more towards their goals, and hopefully they also got a few tips and advice and gained a lot of value from what you were saying, and hopefully they can apply that in their journey as well, you know. So yeah, we leave you guys here, man. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so we appreciate all of you guys for listening in, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Have a brilliant day wherever you are.